It's an old rule up in the mountains when the snow starts coming down. If someone knocks, you let him in. It isn't kindness, it's survival. But that night, I wasn't the one offering shelter. I was the one begging for it. It was supposed to be a 3-day hunting trip. Cold, sure, but clear skies, light wind, nothing serious. By afternoon, the world went gray. Clouds rolled over the ridge like smoke, and within an hour the forest had vanished behind a white curtain. What started as flakes on my jacket became a wall of snow, and I couldn't tell trail from tree anymore. My GPS died first, then my phone, then the sun.
I must have wandered for hours. Every direction looked the same. Endless white and black trunks. Just when I started to wonder if I'd have to dig into the snow for the night, I saw it. A cabin. Small. Half hidden between two frozen pines, like the forest had tried to swallow it whole. No lights, no smoke. Just stillness. I climbed the steps and knocked. The sound was muffled by the wind. No answer. I knocked again. That's when I heard it. Footsteps. Slow ones. Coming from inside. Relief hit me so fast it almost hurt. Finally, someone home. Then a voice spoke through the door. Calm. Even. Come in. Leave your boots by the door. I waited for the door to open. It didn't. I called out, "Thank you. I'm just trying to get out of the storm." Nothing. So, I pushed it open myself. The hinges groaned like something waking up. Inside, 2 small candles flickered on a table. The room smelled like cold wood and old wax. And beyond that light, a shadow moved. A man, I thought. Tall, shoulders bent forward, standing at the far side of the room where the candles couldn't reach. He said, "You can sleep there." His voice came from the bark corner, flat and steady, like a line repeated too many times. I dropped my pack, unstrapped my rifle, and stepped out of my boots. The couch was small but dry. That was good enough. "Thanks for letting me crash," I said. No answer.
Fine. People are strange up here. Some mountain folks live more with the wind than with people. I lay down, facing the candles. The wind outside had stopped. Completely. The silence pressed on my ears until I could hear my own pulse. I told myself he'd gone to bed in another room. That's why it was quiet. That's why I couldn't hear his footsteps anymore. But after a while, I realized I hadn't heard them at all. I opened my eyes. The silhouette was still there. Same place. Standing. I forced a laugh. "Yeah, I think I'll just get some sleep. Thanks again." No response. I turned away, pretending not to care, but curiosity is louder than fear. Minutes passed, maybe more. I couldn't stand it. I turned back. He was closer, just a few feet nearer, enough that the candlelight brushed his forehead. Skin so pale it almost glowed, veins like gray threads just under the surface. And he was still, perfectly still. Something deep inside me broke its calm. I sat up, grabbed my pack, and muttered, "Actually, I'm going to try heading back down. Thanks, though." He didn't move, didn't speak. I didn't look again. I didn't want to see his face. I stepped out, shoved my boots on in the snow, and half ran down the hill. The storm had eased, moonlight spilling through breaks in the clouds, turning the world silver and silent. Farther down, another cabin glowed with warm yellow light. Real light. I ran to it, pounding on the door. It swung open almost instantly. An older man and woman pulled me inside, wrapped me in a blanket, and pressed a steaming mug into my hands. When I finally caught my breath, I told them about the first cabin, about the candles, the silence, and the man who never spoke. The husband frowned, and his wife set her cup down hard enough to rattle the table. "Which cabin?" she asked. I described it, up the ridge, between two pines, half buried in snow. She looked at her husband. He nodded slowly. "That place burned down 2 winters ago," he said. "Whole thing went up with the man still inside. They never rebuilt." I stared at him. "No, that's not possible. I was just there. The door opened." He shook his head. "Son, the only thing up there now are ashes." I wanted to argue, but the smell hit me then. Smoke, faint but sharp, woven deep into my coat and hair. I looked down. Soot, smudged across my gloves. No one said anything after that. We just sat by the fire, listening to the wind circle the cabin, soft and steady, like footsteps pacing just beyond the walls. And somewhere in that wind, I swear I heard it again, a voice, low and patient, drifting through the storm. "Come in. Leave your boots by the door."
I used to love doing late-night deliveries. The world felt quieter after midnight, softer somehow. Until that night. Now, every time I see a dirt road with no streetlights, my chest tightens, like the darkness itself remembers me. It was almost midnight when the order came in. 5 milkshakes and 2 burgers. Weird combo for that hour, but prepaid orders meant guaranteed cash. The address was past the old sawmill, down a forest road I'd never been on. Google Maps showed nothing but coordinates. No street name, no nearby houses, just a single pin in the woods. My boss grunted over the headset. "Take it. Customer's good for it. Don't waste gas." I laughed and said sure, thinking it was just another oddball craving. But as soon as I left the main road, the signal bars on my phone began to fade. 4 bars, then 3, then none. And with that, I realized I was driving blind. No GPS, no messages, just me, my headlights, and the gravel under my tires. When I finally found the place, my first thought was that the coordinates had to be wrong. It wasn't a house. It was a single-story motel, the kind with peeling paint and missing letters on the sign. It read, "Riverside Rest." Except this place hadn't had any rest in decades. Boarded windows, a sagging roofline, and a porch light flickering like it was on life support. No cars, no noise, no movement. Just the forest pressing in from every side. I sat there for a good minute, engine idling, deciding if I should even get out. Finally, I told myself, just drop the food and go, 5 minutes. So I grabbed the bag, stepped out, and walked toward the front door. The night was completely still. No wind, no bugs, no sound at all. It felt wrong, like the air itself was holding its breath. The screen door creaked when I pushed it. "Delivery?" I called out. "Got your order?" Nothing. I tried again. "Hello? Anyone home?" And then I heard it. Soft movement, somewhere deeper inside. Not footsteps exactly, but a
dragging sound. I froze, trying to listen. Then a voice spoke, calm, distant. "Come in. Leave it on the counter." Something about the way it said that made my skin crawl. The voice was flat, no warmth, no emotion, like a recording that had been played one too many times. I didn't move. Then it spoke again, slower this time, almost deliberate. "We're hungry." We. That word hit me like ice water down my spine. I set the food down on the porch and started backing away. Whatever this was, it wasn't a customer. I climbed back into my car, shut the door, and turned the key. Click. Nothing. Tried again. Click. Third time, it roared to life. Relief washed over me for maybe 2 seconds before every warning light on the dash started flashing red. Tire pressure, critical.
I got out to check, phone light shaking in my hand. Every tire, flat. Not popped, not stabbed, ripped. Long, jagged tears like someone had dragged a blade down each one. Front, back, all four. My heart was hammering. Someone had done this while I was at the door. Someone close enough to touch the car, and I hadn't heard a sound. I locked myself inside again, hands trembling so bad I could barely hit the phone screen. No signal, no GPS, no service. The only light came from that weak porch bulb still flickering. Then it went out. Total black. When it came back on, there was someone standing beneath it. Bare feet, jeans soaked to the knees, head tilted just slightly to one side like they were studying me. I couldn't make out a face, just the faint glint of eyes reflecting the light. Then another shape stepped beside them. Then a third. All of them perfectly still. All of them staring straight at my car.
I pressed myself back against the seat, too scared to even blink. I didn't know whether to run or hide or pray. And that's when I heard it. A tapping sound. Slow, rhythmic, coming from behind me. Tap, tap, tap. I turned, looking into the rearview mirror. Eyes. Wide, unblinking, a woman's face inches behind the glass, staring directly at me from the back seat. Her mouth was open, too wide, too still, like she was frozen mid-scream. But there was no sound, just the shape of the word forming silently on her lips. Hungry. I threw the door open and ran. Didn't think, didn't look back, just ran. Branches whipped at my face, gravel bit into my feet, but I kept running. Behind me, my car horn started blaring, short bursts, then pauses. Beep, beep, beep. Pause. Beep, beep, beep. Like it was sending a message, like someone was still inside. I ran until I couldn't breathe, until my lungs felt like fire. Then I saw them, flashing red and blue lights cutting through the trees. I stumbled toward them, screaming for help. 2 officers jumped from their cruiser and caught me before I hit the ground. When I told them everything, they exchanged a look. Not disbelief, recognition.
The older one said quietly, "Kid, that place has been condemned for 10 years. But you're not the first driver to end up there. Same coordinates. Same fake prepaid order. Same flat tires." They towed my car out at sunrise. Inside, they found the food bag still on the seat. The burgers were gone, but on top of the empty drink tray sat a single cardboard box, grease-stained, and written across the inside of the lid in perfect finger streaks were 3 words: "We're still hungry." That was my last delivery.
Now, when a prepaid order comes in from an address I don't recognize, I let someone else take it. Because sometimes the customer isn't ordering food. They're ordering you.
I'm 27. I live alone in a quiet rural town in Virginia, about 2 blocks from my parents. Close enough for convenience, and too close for comfort. My mom's the worrying type. Sweet, gentle, always fussing about something. She checks in every morning, drops off leftovers, leaves sticky notes on my fridge reminding me to eat or sleep or call her. And sometimes she just lets herself in. She still has the spare key I gave her years ago. I've thought about taking it back, but you'd have to know her. She's impossible to argue with. And lately, her memory hasn't been the best. Little things. Names, times, places. A touch of early dementia, the doctor said. But she's my mom. You don't take her keys.
That Saturday night, I was at the only bar in town. Small crowd, sticky tables, a neon sign that buzzed like a trapped fly. It was after 2 when I decided to walk home. 3 blocks in the cold felt better than waiting for a cab that would never show. The neighborhood was dead quiet. No wind, no cars, just my footsteps echoing on the sidewalk. My porch light was on, glowing soft and yellow through the mist. I climbed the steps, reached for the doorknob, and froze. It was already unlocked. Sighed. Mom must have come by again. Inside, the house smelled faintly of cleaner, lemon and dust. I locked the door behind me and tossed my keys on the counter. That's when I saw the note. Her handwriting. A little shaky, but unmistakable. You left this at our house. Love, Mom. Beside it sat a plastic box with half a chocolate cake inside.
Classic Mom. I smiled, shook my head, and figured she'd decided to wait out the night here again. She's done that before. If I'm out too late, she crashes in the guest room upstairs. Then I heard footsteps, slow ones, moving across the floor above me. I called out, "Mom, you should have gone home, it's late." No answer. I climbed the stairs, the wood creaking under my feet. The guest room door stood open. Empty. So was the bathroom. So was my office. The house felt heavier somehow, like the air itself was listening. "Mom," I said again. Still nothing. My chest tightened. Something wasn't right. I ran back down the stairs and grabbed the phone. Dad answered on the 4th ring, groggy and half asleep. "What's wrong? You okay?" "Yeah, it's just, Mom's here again. She left the door unlocked. I think she's wandering upstairs." There was a pause, long enough for me to hear him sit up in bed. "Son, that's not possible." My grip tightened on the phone. "What do you mean?" "She's right here. She's asleep next to me." The line went silent. And then, a sound from behind me. A soft creak. From the top of the stairs. I turned, and in the dim kitchen light, I saw it. A head, peeking slowly around the corner of the stairwell. Just the outline of a face, half hidden by shadow, watching me, still. My voice dropped to a whisper. "Dad, someone's in the house." Then I ran. I don't even remember unlocking the door, just the blast of cold air and the sound of my father shouting through the phone, "Get out! Get out now!"
I sprinted barefoot down the street, heart slamming in my chest, phone still in my hand. By the time I reached my parents' house, Mom was already standing on the porch, wrapped in a robe, worried sick. She ran to me, arms trembling. "What happened? Are you okay?" I told her what I saw. The footsteps, the unlocked door, the face watching from the stairs. She frowned, confused, then said softly, "I was there earlier. I cleaned the counters, brought the cake. You were asleep, so I didn't wake you." I felt sick. Asleep? Mom, I wasn't even home. Before she could answer, 2 police cars pulled up outside. My dad was already talking to the officers, and within minutes they were walking us down the street to my place. One stayed outside with us. The others went in. They searched everything. Upstairs, crawl space, attic. 15 minutes later, they came back out. Nothing. No one there. No signs of forced entry. Just the note, the cake, and the door unlocked. I didn't sleep there that night. I stayed in my old bedroom at my parents' house. Told myself I was overreacting. Told myself maybe Mom forgot to lock the door, and maybe I'd imagined the shape on the stairs. But even now, weeks later, the thought won't leave me. Sometimes, when the house settles at night, I'll hear faint footsteps again. Upstairs, moving slowly across the floor. And every time I look up, I feel it, that same quiet attention, that same sense that I'm not as alone as I think I am. Sometimes I call out softly, just to hear if something will answer. And once, it did. A whisper, drifting down the stairwell, gentle, familiar, but wrong in all the ways a voice can be wrong. "Go to bed. You're home now."